Living in Charleston, Illinois for the last year, I've noticed that there are a few things that I would stand to argue need to be worked on or developed in order to make Charleston a truly all-inclusive environment like Eastern University at least claims to be. And my argument is that Charleston as a community, as well as Eastern University's campus food options, need to have a greater variety in them. My first reasoning for this is that vegans and vegetarians are not being represented in the community, and also there's so much benefit to eating a variety of foods that it could actually be negatively impacting us. So to start, we need more of a variety of food choices in Charleston, Illinois, because vegetarians and vegans are not being represented on campus or in the community well enough, making it very difficult for this demographic to stick to their preferred diet. A result of a foods survey indicate that the percentage of self-identified vegetarians has increased substantially between 2013 and 2018. Additionally, the number of restaurants in the Vegetarian Journal's Guide to Vegetarian and Vegan Restaurants in the US and Canada rose from 55 in 1993 to 971 to 971 in 2018. Plus, plant-based food sales in the U.S. recently experienced an 8.1% growth in 1 year. This is all in accordance to animalcharityevaluators.org. But as you can tell from these statistics alone, we can see that there's at least the potential need for Charleston, Illinois to provide more plant-based options for their campus and their community. You can take it from me, someone who's been a vegetarian for the last year of my life, that vegetarians and vegans are not being represented on this in this community. I personally am unable to eat at most of the restaurants that are near me. Most items at the restaurants that are closest to me, which are like Arby's, McDonald's, Jimmy John's, don't meet my specific dietary needs. I'm not saying that there are no options for us vegetarians, and vegans, because I will admit that Taco Bell, for example, is a great place for vegetarians and vegans to eat because they can substitute beans for animal byproducts. But this fact, along with the many facts that I listed before, and the fact that the campus only provides one vegetarian option at only one of the 3 dorm halls, and the only vegan option is a salad bar, it's clear that Charleston needs to live up to their all-inclusive motto and start to better include and represent the vegan and vegetarian community. And then further, if you walk down Lincoln Street and 18th Street, the 2 main roads that have the majority of the food options in Charleston, you'll see that the vast majority of restaurants here provide pretty similar food options. For example, there are 5 different Mexican restaurants, 12 different pizza restaurants, 5 Chinese places, and these are all for the most part making up Charleston's entire food options. There are sandwich places thrown in the mix in there as well, but with so few options and these being the vast majority, it's clear that there's not a lot of variety here. As for the campus, I will acknowledge that the staff does their best at providing different options every day, but if you're limited to one option, as I am, someone who's vegetarian or someone who's vegan, you eat the same food pretty much every week, if not close to every day. According to the Journal of Nutrition, a new study finds that if your meals frequently repeat themselves, your body could be negatively impacted. Eating a wide assortment of foods and rotating what you eat helps increase the diversity of healthy bacteria in your stomach. This good bacteria is important not just for overall health, but weight loss as well. Additionally, there was a study from 2016 that found that a lower diversity of good bacteria was actually associated with obesity and abdominal fat. So essentially, I would stand to make the argument that if you live and eat primarily here in Charleston, Illinois, you may not be getting enough of a variety in your diet for your stomach to have diverse enough bacteria. And if you're limited in options as vegans and vegetarians are, as I've mentioned before, the impacts could be even more profound. I know from my personal experience, like I mentioned before, Taco Bell has like a really great options for vegans and vegetarians, but this last year of my life living in Charleston, I've eaten the most Taco Bell that I've ever eaten in my entire life. And that's not as good for you as it would be, say, if you were able to get more plant-based food in your diet, or fruits and vegetables, more alkaline and whole grain food options. For where we can go from here, I would make the argument that it could start with the campus first, since it's gonna cost a lot less to provide more options at dining halls than it will be to open up entirely new restaurants in the community. They could start at the dining halls by providing more options, more of a variety. I realize that it's easier to do the same foods every week, but even if they just added another rotation of the types of food that they'll sell that week, they could have A week and B week for the kinds of food that they're going to be providing. And as for the Charleston community, I know it's a little bit more difficult to just suggest to have new restaurants open up, but I know that there has been more like local smaller businesses coming up, like the smoothie doctors and sweet teas both just opened up within the last couple of weeks. So my suggestion could be that either those restaurants or any other new and upcoming local businesses could try to work towards providing different options, at least. If having like an entirely vegan restaurant isn't impractical, then we could just not open up another pizza restaurant at least. Just as a final point, eating non-processed whole real foods is not only good for your health, it's good for the environment, it's good for your skin. It'll cost you much less in the long run. While it may be expensive now, it'll be a lot less expensive when you're older and you don't have the health problems that eating the same kind of foods and the same kind of processed, non-beneficial foods that we have a lot of here in Charleston will cause for you. In all, Charleston, Illinois should really start investing in its community more by looking at the type of food options that we currently have and realizing that there is a huge need for much more of a variety in our foods, as well as more plant-based and vegetarian and vegan-friendly options. Including that demographic is really important if we're going to continue being the all-inclusive campus that we strive to be. And yeah, I've listed a few ways that they could help with that practically. And even further, eating right and having better food options is good for your health, your skin, the environment, and there's no reason that Charleston, Illinois shouldn't invest in its people that are living here and provide them with better, healthier, and safer food options than we currently have. Thank you very much.